Keith had been trying to plot to have his wife. On February 8th, 2019, the police obtained wiretaps for Keith and Valeria's cell phones. On February 12th, 2019, Keith is formally interviewed by detectives for a third time. This time, he was given his Miranda warnings, which he signed. Keith gives another, slightly different version of what happened that night. The police confront Keith with Valeria's cell phone records, saying, "You were not where you said you were." It contradicts the story, and the phone indicates they went northbound into Druid Hill Park and that you guys stayed there for 12 to 16 minutes. So what was going on? Keith says, "Okay, fine, I'll tell you. I just got lost and I didn't want to admit it to you in my prior statements."
Oh, come on.
He further advised that they were sitting in the parking lot looking at pictures they had taken during the evening, and then they turned around and went home. Immediately upon completion of the interview, Keith got into a rental truck and drove to Winter Haven, Florida, where he requested to be relocated by his job. Also on February 12th, the police re-interview Valeria. She was also given her Miranda warnings, which she signed and agreed to speak with detectives. When confronted with her cell phone records, Valeria said they were never in Druid Hill Park. "I don't know what you're talking about." And then she quickly requested a lawyer and the interview stopped. So on February 14th, detectives speak to an unnamed source who knows Keith and Valeria. And this source tells police that Keith had asked his brother, Vic Smith, if he'd help Keith Jacqueline. The source advised that the information was then given to Mr. Donald Morgan, who is a close friend of Keith Smith. Investigation revealed that Keith Smith had a brother named Vic Smith and a close friend named Donald Morgan. The next day, the detectives now interview Donald Morgan, who tells police, "Yeah, okay, Vic Smith told me that he was approached by Keith to try to get rid of Jacqueline." This basically means police confirmed that at some point, Keith had been trying to plot to have his wife, and then later she turns up and he says it's panhandlers.
Yes.
So they're just like further cementing some evidence here. On February 19th, detectives find Vic Smith, who is Keith's brother, and they ask him to talk to them at police headquarters. He agrees. He says that Keith had told him that Jacqueline was thinking of divorcing Keith. So now they've just found a motive.
Got it.
Jacqueline was threatening divorce from Keith, and now Keith wants her money. After Vic left police headquarters, the wiretap got him calling his brother. Vic asks Keith if he got his text, and Keith says no, and Vic tells Keith about the questions the police had just been asking him, and Vic warns Keith that he didn't want to talk on the phone because, you know, everything's got ears now. February 27th, 2019, police serve Vic Smith with a grand jury subpoena, apparently for him to testify before the grand jury on March 1st. Vic calls Keith and tells him about the grand jury subpoena. He warns Keith that, hey, they're going to issue an arrest warrant. You're going to be arrested if the grand jury finds enough evidence, which is what I'm going to testify for. The wiretap also intercepts 2 calls Keith makes trying to book a one-way ticket to Cuba and then a one-way ticket to
Bahamas.
Canada. He was unsuccessful because he doesn't have a passport.